Okay. Um, Hi. I am recording this. I don't know if I will do this forever, but um, so uh, hello. I'm Steven. I go by Yingsti333 pretty much everywhere. Um, so I guess I wanted to record this just because. Um, so this is something the Custom Hearthstone subreddit does every week. It's basically a weekly design competition type of thing where people do make cards based on certain prompts. And the idea is you make a card, you post it, and then uh, Flips will Flips is the main moderator. He gathers all the cards together, makes like a voting post, and then people go vote on which ones they like. They usually the rounds start like Wednesday night. Um, Wednesday night, like my time, and then they usually submissions close Monday night my time generally, and um, then voting is from like when submissions close to the next round. That's the idea basically. Um, so uh, I participate in a lot of these. In fact, this prompt was actually I made this prompt uh, at the time. Right now, the Emerald Dream launches tomorrow. So I thought a good prompt would be to make a card with a class specific keyword and make it for a different class. Like how there are choose one cards for every class in the Emerald Dream. That was the idea. That's why I made the main prompt. I could not think of something for the secondary prompt, so Flips just made the secondary prompt best flavor. Sure. So I just wanted to, I don't know, record something to look at all these cards and just, I don't know, share my thoughts since this is technically my prompt. I will probably I might end up uploading this somewhere and then uh, po- make it like live in public after the next round starts. So that's because I think one thing I realized when I first started out is that you do not improve a lot unless you get feedback. And that is really hard on Reddit specifically. It's a little easier on the Custom Hearthstone Discord. There's specific channels where you can post cards and ask for feedback. But uh, I don't know. It's it might help someone who does not like to use Discord or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's look at some cards. I think I've seen most of them, but I still want to just go through them. Okay. First off, Light Seeker. Whenever your hero is overhealed, give this +1/+1. This does fit the prompt. Uh, Overheal is a priest keyword, so whenever your hero is overhealed, you give it +1/+1. I it's a fine one drop. Play this on one, figure out some way to heal your hero on two, and then just go from there. Um, there's a question about whether it's straightforward with like lifesteal, intuitive with lifesteal, because a priest has never had an effect that cares about overhealing their hero. All of their overheal effects care about minions, so it's not fully clear. But I think the biggest problem I have with this is that um, when you do heal, after your hero takes a lot of damage, this becomes practically impossible to trigger. Like, let's say you are like turn 6 and you're getting beat down a little bit, and you're at like 15 health, and then you draw this. How are you going to overheal your hero from 15 health? It's not great. I do like the idea. I do like the idea, and the flavor's like fine, but that's my thoughts on the card. Um, Tenacity of the Fordrains, 2 mana holy spell, restore 10 health to your hero, and gain armor equal to the overhealing. Um, I need to. Well, I'm pretty sure Paladin doesn't get armor, but I kind of understand like what the idea is. Um, certain the priest cards that care about like the amount you overhealed will state it as gain armor equal to the amount overhealed. Actually, let me pull this up. Pull up an example card. Like, um, pull up an example card. Give me 1 second. So, like, for example, in Festival, there's, where is it? This card. Heartthrob. I hate when it does this. Heartthrob says overheal, summon a random minion with cost equal to the amount overhealed. So something like this, where it's gain armor equal to the overhealing, is technically not the right wording, but it makes sense, I guess. I don't. Again, um, the armor thing is cute. I don't think it's super interesting. I also don't think Paladin gets armor all that often, but I think it's not out of the realm of possibility. Um, yeah, I don't feel great about this card either. All right, I have seen this card and a lot of people complain discussing this card on the Discord. Nuzul, after you spend corpses, overload your opponent for 1 mana crystal. 3 mana, 2/5 undead, double frost rune. Um, I'm not exactly sure about this. So, off the top of my head, if you manage to get this with something like a corpse explosion, then that is a problem because then you wipe the board and they can't play anything. Um, and then there's other things, I guess. There's cheap cards that spend corpses. I think the most recent expansion has a 1 mana card that spends 4 to deal 4 to a guy. So, yeah, it does. I mean, that couldn't even be in the same deck as this. What am I saying? Because that's a Unholy Blood, and this is Double Frost. Actually, now that I think about it, Does Frost Rune? Okay, give me 1 second. So I go into here. I don't think Frost Rune has a ton of ways to spend corpses. So you'd need to dip into a different rune in order to do that. Yeah, I think the most. Oh, hang on. Because if I remember correctly, Mirror Manipulator works in a way that it spends a corpse each time it triggers. So, um, if you play Ner'zhul and then you play the Mirror Manipulator, then that's um, 3 mana 2/5 plus a 6 mana 5/5 deal 2 damage 5 times to something, or Pyroblast your opponent and then overload them for 5. Um, I don't know about this. I'm assuming Ner'zhul is a shaman of some kind, like an undead shaman, which is why they get to overload stuff. So I guess that flavor fits, but I don't know. Okay. Mount He Mount He Yal. First off, this is a notable location. It's named and everything. I don't know if it should be legendary or not. Okay. Anyway, gain +3 attack this turn. Outcast this gains +2 durability, 2 mana, 2 durability. This is this is fine. This is a perfectly fine druid card. Um, I think Outcast is very funny in druid because of the whole lore thing with Malfurion and Illidan and whatever. I don't have a problem with this card. It would be really good in like. Actually, it wouldn't be that good in like Questline, Warlock, and Wild because there's faster ways to do that. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I think this is an interesting card. Um, it is 12 damage eventually, but it's slow and it requires your hero to attack, so I think it's fine. And honestly, the outcast giving durability is you can even play it without the outcast and you don't really care because it only matters when you're going super late. I do like this card. It's yeah. Okay. Forsaken Druid, 4 mana Death Knight single frost rune, 4 mana 3/3 Undead Beast. Choose one, spend 6 corpses to deal 6 damage, or to summon 2 3/3 Risen Dead Stompers. And the Risen Dead Stompers are 3/3s that don't leave corpses. First off, don't leave corpses is good for the Risen thing. Good for the Risen thing. That's how they worked with like the Battlefield Necromancer and cards like that. Um, yeah, I don't have a huge problem with this either. Um, this being like an undead druid that the Death Knights are using is very funny. I do think it's funny. I do appreciate it. I yeah, I like the flavor of it. Uh, 6 corpses is a lot, but it's not unreasonable for other classes to get to 6. I was worried about like it having the potential to do nothing if you can't do either choice. Um, yeah, I don't have a huge problem with this one. Stalk the Woods, 2 mana druid spell. Choose one, give your hero +3 attack this turn, or summon a 3/2 panther. Outcast, do both. See, yeah, this is basically the location, except slightly different. And I think this is basically fine. Yeah, it's basically like the location in, from up above. I do think this is, well, is it better than the location? The location encourages you to run a more long game, or this is like a singular burst of a singular burst swing. I do think I'll vote both of them. I think they're both good. All right. Tychus Finlay, Rush Taunt, Outcast. Your next Starship launch also summons a 9/9 Odin. And then the Odin, it has Rush, Taunt, and Wind Fury. With Death Rattle, add Tychus Finlay to your hand. Okay, so the whole thing with like the. I think what they were intending with like the Terran stuff is because your starships constantly get discounted. The idea is that you're able to launch a bunch of starships over the course of a bunch of different turns. I'm assuming that's what the idea is. So this fits that. I did see some people in the Discord saying like why this guy has outcast. He's basically an outcast for the Terran people or something like that. So yeah, this launches is you get the 9/9. It is, I think it is a little bit too much because remember, Terran discounts their starship launches. So there's a potential where you build up your starship a ton, and then you slam this on 5, you launch your starship, and now you suddenly have 2 gigantic guys on board, one of which has Wind Fury. And besides, even like a 5/5 rush taunt is like fine. That's perfectly fine. So I think this might be a little overtuned, especially because it's recursive as well. Where if you launch extra starships afterwards, you're always getting a 9/9 with them for like that five mana initial sink in. Yeah, I think this is a little too strong for my liking. But if the numbers were toned down, it could be interesting. All right, 5 line card. Yeah, in the custom Hearthstone Discord and other stuff, people look down on 5 line cards. It's usually a indication that your card is way too complicated. Um, there have been situations where 5 line cards have existed in Hearthstone. The immediate thing that comes to mind is Killmox, which was a duel's treasure. But those are usually rarities. And then there's like zombies, but zombies are weird and are basically 2 cards slapped together, so that doesn't really count. So Infernato, 9 mana fire, legendary mage fire spell. Overload 2, deal 10 damage to all enemy minions, unfreeze any frozen minions, destroy all frost spells wherever they are. Hmm. This is like so you. Okay. For 7 mana, you get a Flame Strike. This is basically double that. But there is diminishing returns on damage-based board clears. And Flame Strike is usually enough. Um, I mean, it should usually be enough. Unfreeze any frozen minions. That does not matter at all. Why would you unfreeze frozen minions? Um, if your minions are frozen and you're casting this to unfreeze them, there's a 3 mana card that does that and gives you a body, so it's more proactive. And if you're trying to do it reactively to your guys getting frozen, I don't think that's useful. Destroy all frost spells wherever they are. Sure. It seems like this person was really trying to go for the flavor, but mechanically, I do not like it. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Choosy Beggar, 2 mana, 2/3 rogue epic. Choose one, discover a battle cry, combo, or outcast card, or a card with overheal, overload, or corpses. Uh, it looks like they were trying to go for everything. Okay. I have a slight issue with overheal because overheal rogues do not have an easy way to overheal stuff. But I think if you just swapped out it would actually be interesting. Like discover if you moved outcast to the second option, and then discover a battlecry combo or I don't know stealth card. So then you so then you either lean into your class for the discovers, or you get 3 random options from other classes, and you can potentially use their upsides or downsides. Yeah. Um, I think this idea is interesting. I guess I think they were just trying to be cute as well. They saw the prompt and they were like, "Okay, I need to use all of these keywords." But yeah, and the funny thing is, I think in new standard, this wouldn't get you anything because all of the priest cards with overheal are rotating out. There's exactly one overheal card still in standard, and it's Anchorite. So yeah, this wouldn't do anything for the overheal option on the second part, which is funny and sad. Okay. Um, Unstable Flesh Amorph, 8 mana for 8, triple blood. Taunt, regen 8, overheal, deal the amount overhealed as damage to all other minions. Regen X at the end of your turn, restore 8 X health to this character. Um, so it's an 8 mana 4/8 that at the end of your turn deals 8 to all other minions. So I mean, it's not like, it's just, it's not that different from like Soul Stealer. Um, and then there's the cute thing about like if you kill it, if you knock it down to like 7 health, but you don't kill it, then when it heals back up to full, and then you have 1 damage to everything. Um, I don't like the name that much. It doesn't feel like a legendary name. It feels like an epic name. And then this might I don't think it's that bad, that egregious. But there is a possibility it causes an unfun game pattern. But it is like triple blood, so I mean, who cares? Yeah. I think the name is the big thing, and then it might actually be a little weak. No, a 4/8 taunt body is probably better than a 5/5. So I think that it's about comparable to Soul Stealer. You don't get the corpses, but it's a bigger threat generally. Eh, I don't feel super strongly about this one. 3 mana Frost spell for Shaman. Give a minion summoned this turn +5/+5 combo, then freeze it. Um, yeah, if you play a minion and then you can give it +5/+5 and freeze it. If you really need to, you can freeze an enemy minion, but then it's like worse cryostasis. Actually, cryostasis. This is like conditional cryostasis. Um, a minion summoned this turn would have to be from like a death rattle in order to get the +5/+5 that doesn't freeze it. There's a saying in the Discord about something like DIY, something being too DIY, where it's like you see the card and then you have to basically think about the use case. And if you have to think too hard about the use case, it's probably too specific. 9 times out of 10, this is cryostasis, but bigger, which I don't like that much. It's a cool It's a cool concept, though. Okay. Crystalline Regrowth. Restore 6 health, get 2/2 treants equal to the amount overhealed, 2 mana nature spell. Okay, so restore 6 health can hit a minion. So this could get you 6 2/2 treants. It's get, so they go to your hand. 1/1 treants, 1 mana 2/2 treants are fine. Restore 6 health to your heroes, probably also fine. Um, I do appreciate this spell. This spell's cool. Yeah, I don't see a problem with this. I do appreciate it. Tyrion Eben General. Taunt Battlecry. Your opponent equips a 5/3 Ashbringer. Spend up to 5 corpses and give it -1 attack for each. Okay, so this is Tyrion, the 8 mana 8/8 Taunt Divine Shield that equips you a 5/3. So that's the big flavor thing with this card. And then you spend corpses to reduce the attack of the weapon. If you reduce it all the way to 0, it doesn't do anything. It's 5 mana, so in a paladin deck that wants to swarm the board, you will almost always have it live, and there's just a 5 mana 8/8 taunt with arguably upside because it blows up your opponent's weapon. I think the flavor is good. I just don't know about the balance. A 5 mana 8/8 taunt. I'm trying to think if there's a comparable card. I arguably 5 mana 8/8 with upside. So it might be a little much. Yeah. I think the flavor is good, but I think the numbers need to be tuned a little bit. I think if it was a 6/6 like OG Tyrion, it would probably be fine. A 5 mana 6/6, a little above rate. It makes it so that the Ashburn doesn't kill it still. And then if you manage to get the corpses, then it's like a little above rate, but it's fine. Okay, so I messed up while recording this. I didn't realize that the recording only could take 30 minutes. So I'm just gonna go through some of my thoughts on the rest of the cards. Sanguine Widow. Uh, Destroying a random undamaged enemy minion is arguably still worth about 3 mana from like compared to like Deadly Shot because you can more easily control it. And also, if you play this against like a 1 drop and it dies, if you play this against a 1 drop, your opponent feels horrendous. If you Shadow Step it, it is basically a 0 mana destroy a minion, which is a little much. I think this card is. It's a cool idea, but I think it's too strong, which is a bit of a shame. But weakness over pain. This is basically timeout. Your hero can't lose health until your next turn. Overload 1, 2 mana Warlock Shadow spell. This is basically timeout, except a little shifted. This I could see this as like I I didn't vote for this because this could just be a 3 mana spell without the overload and would basically do the same thing. I don't know why this has overload. I guess for flavor, but it's not really. Yeah, I don't like flavor of it. Life of the party. This is Chofall and Baron, except it can blow itself up occasionally. Arguably, Outcast is either an upside or a downside. Um, I love the flavor. I love the flavor. I did vote for this for both flavor and design. I think it's arguably fine. Bull Marketer, you 3 mana 4/3 rogue card at the end of your turn. You get 2 coins, but you overload 2 first. So you do get the mana back eventually, and then if it lives for a turn, the market is booming, and you get 2 more mana, 2 more extra mana, which I think is fun flavor. Yeah, I think it's a good card. And then Undying Faith, I thought this was cool as well. 2 mana Holy Spell, you summon 3/1/1 Silverhand Recruits, and spend 3 corpses to give them Divine Shield. So they take the holiness from the fallen and they get the divine shields from it. I think it's fun flavor. It's very fitting for paladin. So that's yeah. So out of the batch, I I liked Mount Hial. I like the Forsaken Druid. I like the Stalk the Woods. It's um I like the Crystalline Regrowth. I like the Life of the Party. I like the Bull Marketer, and I like the Undying Faith.